It's very cold. It's like almost summer and it's really cold in my house. Good morning, fellas. It's not morning. And I don't think anyone watches my videos first thing in the morning, so. Good time of the day, boys. That might annoy a lot of people, but a lot of people are gonna have to learn to suck it up. Hello. Oh wait. Hey, what's up, you guys? wait. Are they gonna? Hey, what's up, you guys? I'm kidding. Me try to be Shane Dawson for, I don't know, 10 minutes straight. Is that how long this video's gonna be? Sure. So, I'm doing my second installment of spooky season because I need a new video and I really like them. So, it's really cold, so I got a blanket so I can film and not freeze. And I lit some candles, but you can't really see them, and one of them keeps flickering and I don't like that. That's okay. Hey. Today's video is going to be my first conspiracy theory, and it's going to be about how the Titanic, our favorite sinkable ship. Today's video is going to be about the Titanic and the conspiracy theory that it didn't actually sink. Dun dun. Okay. Okay, sorry. I know that doesn't make any sense. There's a shadow right there and I don't know when it's being cast from. That's so scary. Our basement is so scary. I don't know where that shadow's coming from because there's nothing behind it. Oh, is it that? Oh, okay. That was so, I was scared for a second. I was like, there's nothing behind that. Every single time I film one of these videos, something happens. Like the last video that I filmed, and there was like that ominous sound in the background that I didn't pay attention to because I stopped paying attention to things when they happen in my house because I'm like, it's haunted. It'd be like that. And I'm in the most haunted room in my house, which is my basement, and I'm by myself, and I'm telling a spooky story, conspiracy theory, and the most haunted part of my basement is literally right there. So if this video goes up, I lived. Thanks. So the Titanic was a ship that sunk on April 15th in 1912 in the northern Atlantic waters, killing 1,500 passengers. So, Jesus Christ, that room is so scary. Oh, is that gonna be loud in the background? Hold on. Fine. Okay, so listen. My furnace just turned on because my house is cold. But that means that we have to deal with this sound. And I'm sorry, but that's just how it's gonna be. If you don't like it, watch my next video, watch my last video. I'm sorry. I will try to speak louder, or as loud as possible so that you can still hear me, and I will have music in the background, so like, yeah. Do you hear that? Every now and then, it sounds like someone's coming down the stairs, but there's no one coming down the stairs. That's scary. My house, I might die. I said this before, but if this video goes up, then that means I didn't die and I survived and I'm back in my room crying. No, I'm kidding. But like, actually, it does every once in a while. It sounds like someone's coming down the stairs, even though they aren't. My basement is so scary. But let's just continue on to the video, okay? The company that built the Titanic was called the British White Star Line, and it had very stiff competition. Locally, it had a fierce rivalry with the Cunard Steamship Company. So the CSC had made two large ships called the Lusitania and the Mauretania. In order to compete with the two ships, the White Star Line decided to enter a giant ship war. The White Star Line used their big four ships, but were outgunned in terms of speed by the Lusitania and the Mauretania. In 1902, White Star had become property owned by the International Mercantile Marine Company. This company was bankrolled by J.P. Morgan, and with his permission, they began working on Olympic-class ships. They decided that if the Lusitania speed couldn't be met, they would overclass the Cunard ships with their own ships. The White Star ships would be bigger and much more luxurious. At first, 3 ships were commissioned: the Olympic, the Titanic, and the Britannic. So the Olympic was the first to be built, and it was considered the lead ship. Unfortunately, on September 20th in 1911, while passing a military vessel called the Hawk, the Olympic made an unexpected right turn. The 2 ships crashed, but the Olympic was able to make it back to port. Later on, the White Star Line was deemed responsible for the incident. Okay, so here's where the real conspiracy starts. So the Olympic was an economic disaster. The lawsuit meant that it would not be covered by insurance, and just by laying on the dock, it was not making any money. So the theory is that the company made a switch. The new ship would get the name the Olympic, and the old damaged ship would become the Titanic. Eventually, the true Olympic, which was now the Titanic, would be sunk, and White Star Line would be able to collect the insurance, benefiting any other new ships they made. So other conspiracy theorists that have talked about this claim that there was a more nefarious plan behind it. Many people believe that JP Morgan was actually behind the whole thing, and he was very eager to do so that he would drown all of his enemies on board. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the strange things that occurred before and during the Titanic's voyage that made people think that it actually wasn't the Titanic and it was the Olympic. Okay, so claim number 1 was that the Titanic's insurance was increased 5 days before sailing. This would mean that JP Morgan would actually receive $12.5 million from insurance after the ship had sunk. Now today, that would be about $160 million. It stopped. Nice. Maybe I can actually film. So claim number 2 is that the Olympic survived for far too long after its collision with the Hawk. Many people question how that ship was able to serve 24 years after getting such a bad collision. Another claim would be that the 2 ships were so similar that only a few changes needed to be made for this switch to happen. So they would only have to change the name of the side of the boat and a couple of the life preservers and anything that was inside the Titanic or the Olympic that shared its name. Another claim would be the noticed difference in the Titanic's nameplate. The nameplate of the Titanic is longer on the ship when it went on its maiden voyage than when it was being built. They probably had to make it longer to cover up all of the Olympic's letters. Claim number, 5 or 6, where are we at? Whatever. Was that the original Titanic had 14 bow portholes and the Olympic had 16. And the ship that set sail now had 16 portholes and not 14. Also, when the Titanic was launched, the B deck had evenly shaped windows, but on its maiden voyage, they had unevenly shaped windows. They were just as unevenly shaped as the Olympics. Oddly enough, the Titanic was not open to the public or the press. While the Olympic was open to inspection in both Belfast and Southampton, the Titanic was only open for the Board of Trade inspection. I just had a stroke trying to say that. Okay, so the last claim that I'll talk about is that JP Morgan and 50 first-class passengers who were either friends of him or some sort of investors actually canceled at the last minute, claiming that there was an issue with whatever, like their lives or whatever, and they couldn't actually board the Titanic. I wonder why. Maybe it's because JP Morgan knew what was going on. I lied. I'm going to talk about one more because this one's important. The crew of the Titanic actually refused to set sail. Isn't that so whack? Wow. There's an entire website that has so many more claims that I don't really want to get into because I would be talking forever, but I will link it down below if you guys want to look at that one. It's very interesting and it's also very detailed. Whoever did this, you went in, sis. And that is all for today. This video is kind of short, but it's nice to have like a short and sweet conspiracy theory video so you're not sitting there for hours listening to me ramble on about some dumb stuff you don't care about. Let me know if you believe this conspiracy theory or don't. I actually do because the evidence is right there. It's plain, it's in black and white, like it's so clear. If the Titanic and the Olympic weren't switched, then JP Morgan and the White Star Line were hiding something. They had to have been, like, that's all I got. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed literally suffering while listening to my furnace, which just recently stopped after I stopped filming. Like, are you kidding me? Whatever, it's fine. It's all good, I guess. Subscribe for more if you really liked it. I did. And yeah, like, comment, I don't really know what else to say. That's all I got for you. Let me know if you want me to talk about any other... Let me know if you want to request any other conspiracy theories, murder mysteries, creepy things, scary stuff, government things. Actually, I don't really want to talk about government. No, let's do it. They can kill me if they want. Bye.